Ashley, and I have been thinking about making this video for so long. So I wanted to share the story of how I found Islam, converted, because I get asked so much. So I converted in June of 2019. So at this point it's been just a little bit over a year, alhamdulillah. It's been quite a journey, and for some people it looked like my journey was 1 month, but for me I think it probably started when I was in college. So I guess I could start there, and that's usually where I start. But for those of you who, most of you probably don't know me, so I did want to say I have grown up in the United States, in the state of Arkansas, so a southern state where we kind of live in what we call the Bible Belt. So Christianity is very big. A lot of people go to church. And then where I grew up, it's predominantly white people, and you go to church and you don't learn about a lot of religions. You don't have a lot of experience, I guess, with the outside world, you could say. So when I went to college is really when I got exposed to people of like other cultures and even people of color, to be honest. So crazy to I guess talk about it. It typically is a topic of conversation when I tell people where I grew up. So if you want to Google it, I grew up in Harrison, Arkansas. So I went to college, and when I was, I believe, a sophomore, maybe a junior, it's all kind of a blur. All the semesters kind of run together when you look back. So I saw a flyer for a program, and they partner American students with international students. And I thought that that would be really cool, just like a fun experience, meet a new friend, learn something, be able to teach them something. And so it is a mentorship program where you were only required to speak with them like once a week or so. You can email back and forth or meet up. So I remember going into this classroom, and it, I think, was bigger than they expected because it was a little chaotic. So eventually we were all sitting in these desks, and they kind of had the American students on one side, international students on the other. And I remember I was looking around the room trying to, just kind of get a feel for everything, and I looked back and there was a girl sitting there. There were two girls wearing hijab talking, and I thought, that's her, that's my partner, I just know it is. So at one point, the woman kind of running the show is having people stand up and partnering them. And I can tell she's gonna be really close to standing up at the same time I am. So when I saw her get ready to stand up, I stood up, and the lady paired us together. And my partner was in grad school, originally from Saudi Arabia, and we became really good friends. So I got to spend about 2 years or so with her and learned so much. So we taught each other a lot, and looking back, I don't really remember talking about religion a whole lot. That was not ever really just the main topic. I think I asked maybe a couple of questions, and I did see if we went out to eat together, I remember someone staring at her, and at first I thought, why are they staring at us? And then I realized it's because of her hijab. And I always wanted to stick up for her, and I wanted to be there for her. So eventually when we graduated, so I graduated with my bachelor's, and then she graduated with her master's, just a day apart. So she left, and then that following January I was in grad school, and the night before World Hijab Day, so World Hijab Day is February 1st every year, so the night before I find out about it, right? So I think Facebook. So I decided to take part in World Hijab Day. So I watched YouTube videos, and it's so funny to me looking back because I think one of the first videos I ever watched was by Lena Snowbar. Her handle is with Lovely. I took an infinity scarf I had from my closet. I practiced, and it's so funny because looking back now, I actually reached out to somebody who had converted, and I said, hey, does this look okay? And she said, yeah, that looks great. So I did my best to recreate it the next morning, and I remember reaching for the door handle to leave my apartment, and I hesitated, and I thought, I've never hesitated before. I've been self-conscious about, you know, outfits and things like that and getting ready and, you know, how my hair looked. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to be treated today. But I was kind of trying to prepare myself to handle anything that came at me, I guess you could say. So I did get some funny looks because I was a graduate assistant, so I did have a job on campus, and so everybody's like, you know, what are you doing? And then some people were like, oh, I wish I had known so I could participate too. So I had a really good day. I posted on social media and got a lot of positive feedback, especially from other Muslims. They really appreciated it. So I really threw myself into some research about World Hijab Day, and I wanted to become an ambassador. So that following year, I became an ambassador. I think that was 2017, and I ended up moving to a larger area, larger city, but still kind of small for Arkansas. But I worked on a different college campus, so I actually attended their day and kind of hung around with them, wore it again, and then the next year, so 2018, I said I want to hold my own event in the city. So I had told some girls at the college or at the university that I wanted to hold this event, so they said something to some women at the mosque who got in contact with me and said, hey, we want to help you. So when we had a little meeting, and I remember I went to a small mosque that's kind of used for like classes and things like that. And I go in and I talk to this man and I told him who I was waiting for. He went back in a room because he was doing something, and he comes back out and he offers me a snack and he shows me where the restroom is, and I come back out from the restroom and he offers me a piece of pie, and he kept like, you know, just going back and forth like he wanted to talk to me but he wasn't sure. And at one point he said, here you go, and he gives me a calendar with like pictures of mosques, and I thought, well, that's really cool. And then he handed me like 2 Qurans, and I was like, cool, I can read these, and like maybe, you know, that'll help me be a better advocate and be more understanding of Islam. And he sat down next to me and was talking at one point, and there were more people starting to gather in for the meeting. And before we started the meeting, he said, you know, the way that the media portrays our religion, and he mentioned that and some other things, he said, it's just the most misunderstood religion. And that really stuck with me. You know, I thought I need to learn things for myself for sure. And so at the meeting, the women agreed to help me, and then they said, we're gonna go visit churches for World Hijab Day and give the women scarves and teach them about it. And so they do a lot of interfaith events. So we helped each other out. And when it was all over, World Hijab Day was done, I said, I'm gonna miss you guys, so maybe during Ramadan I can come and visit you at the mosque. And I knew that World Hijab Day did a 30-day hijab challenge, and I just thought, that's a lot, and I just don't know if I can do it, because I didn't want to put it on and try and then fail, to be honest. So I thought about it for a while. I had a few months, because Ramadan was in, I think, April that year, and I decided to do it. And I thought, if I'm going to do the 30-day hijab challenge and I'm going to visit them at the mosque, I might as well fast as well. So I wore the hijab as much as I could out and about. I let work know, hey, I'm going to be wearing this. And I was at the mosque almost every night. There were a couple of nights I couldn't go because of work, because I was traveling at the time. And I noticed about a week or so, in maybe 2 weeks, as I was learning more, I could feel this change happening. And no one ever pushed me or anything. They just said, hey, if you have any questions, let us know. Or if something was going on that maybe I wouldn't have known why it was happening or what it was exactly, somebody would offer up the information. And I eventually asked my friend to teach me how to pray. And I was like reading the Quran. I would get up for suhoor and like watch people's stories, and I was like trying to learn about Islam. And that Lena came back around, the women from the Salam Girl podcast, I discovered them. And so there was just so much going on. I was learning so much, and I was just really trying to dive into it, and I wanted to be a better advocate was really what my goal had been. But by the end of it, I was really falling in love with the religion. So one night, I'm at the mosque, it's toward the end of Ramadan, everyone's praying and I'm watching and I'm reading the Quran, and I was actually still toward the beginning of the Quran, when God is actually speaking to Mary about Jesus and having a baby. And I thought it was so cool, all of the parallels between like Christianity and Islam, since I had a Christian background. And I remember a woman came up to me, and some people were very surprised that I wasn't Muslim already. They said I wore the hijab well, and they had seen me there so often. And I really appreciated the compliments about the hijab. She asked me, she said, "Why do you hesitate?" And I thought about it for a second, and I thought, I don't know. I really don't know what's holding me back anymore. Because I had fought myself a little bit, you know? My family's not Muslim. It's a huge life change. But I just felt this overwhelming sense of peace. Just a peace that I hadn't really felt before. Because with Christianity, I went to church off and on. We didn't start going to church until I was 12. And then throughout college, it was off and on, kind of. And when I moved to the city on my own, I tried again, and something always felt like it was missing. And so I said, I'm going to take my Shahada. So I texted one of my friends, and I let her know. So I did it the last day of Ramadan. And it's there's hardly any words to describe how amazing it is. Even just sitting here talking about it. It's been amazing, and I'm so grateful. Allah has blessed me tremendously, and I wouldn't change a thing.